Hi, welcome to Animating with the Doggett. Today I will be doing the Guinecean. This will be the official first look. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be animating an emote called Pledge Fealty. So this is, there's kings, there's lords, there's vassals, there's peasants. If you want to pledge fealty to whoever, you'll be able to do this with the emote. First of all, let's just show you his basic idle animation, which is already complete, so you can get a feel for how this guy moves and his personality.
I wish we had a little graphic for that.
Yeah,
little trumpet.
I should have saved the glitter for this. Okay, well, here we go. I'll let it play. He's a small guy. He's about half the size of the knight, so the knight's going to probably come up here. So, but size does not matter. In fact, he's a killer. I think 101 he can take on anybody in the game. He's got a lot of abilities. He has burrow. He has guns. He has a sword. He does not have glitter.
Did glitter backfire on you a little bit?
Yeah, the glitter has completely backfired. My wife's going to be thinking that I was not streaming today. With this personality, I wanted to keep him cute but fierce, like Reapy Cheap, or just somebody that, is not like silly or goofy, but, like cute and badass. So I did a lot with his face in this, like twitching the nose and the ear, and with the eyes and him looking around. He's just been a ton of fun doing it. So you can see his gun on the back and his sword. Ganesha Montoya, you killed my father. Prepare to die. So, okay, moving on. Let's go to the pledge animation. So I have a blank file here. Turn on my auto key. That's very important, or else nothing would happen. And there's no animation. For those of you who are new, I'm very big about blocking out the poses, telling the story with just a couple of keyframes at first. So the big peak of this animation, the big pose, is him holding his sword up and kneeling to whoever he's pledging his fealty to. Now, keep in mind, this may or may not make it into the game for everybody. This is just kind of like testing it out, just seeing it. We still haven't fleshed out what we're going to do for emotes, but this could possibly be one, something that we're looking at. So, let's get started.
Did you show off your shirt, by the way?
Oh. So
stand up a little bit so you get right in the camera.
Nocturnal Demise made this beautiful t-shirt of me punching a tiger, and I love it. Like, this is my new favorite t-shirt. This is exactly who I am inside.
And quite a few people in the office have it.
Oh, yeah. So, like, my wife has one. What happened was the sale was taken down too soon, Knock. I was not able to buy 7 t-shirts so I could have one Tiger Chat t-shirt per day. And, I'm a clean person. I'm not going to wear the same t-shirt over and over again. But
very clean.
Yeah, very clean.
Except for the glitter.
Except for the glitter. Okay, so in preparation for this, I took some pictures of me swearing fealty to Miracle Max. The reason why I didn't do vice versa, I did not think his grip could hold the sword with his weak millennial grip. It just kept slipping out of his hand, and it's terrible. So he took these pictures. So I have several different angles just so I can, kind of get the physics of the pose.
It's a shame your phone didn't slip out of my hand when I was taking the pictures.
Good thing it wasn't a 6 Plus. Okay, well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I'll kind of put this over here. So the basics of this pose, I got to get him on his knee. He's going to have to hold the sword up over his head. He has very short arms, so this might not be a really readable pose. We'll see. So let's get into it. Keyframe 0 is his idle pose. We always start from idle. Let's move to keyframe to frame 1 and start posing him out. So I'm going to have to drop his hips, hitting W for the translate key. Let's bring this down. Let's pull this foot forward. Let's push it out. This foot's going to be back. Let's just completely rotate this. Push this up, show some controls. And this is how we're going to get the knee on the ground a little bit better. Grab the knee control, pull it over and down. Foot needs to be rotated so it's facing forward. Okay, hips need to be over this foot more, so you see how basically the line of action goes from the tip of my knee all the way up through my head. So me and the Guinecean have very similar proportions. So that's good to work with when you're doing a pose like this. If I was animating the champion, I'll probably get somebody a little bit beefier like Blair or Chris Ledwith to help me with some of my reference. But right now, the Doggett will do. Okay,
The Doggett will do.
Let's rotate these hips. Let's switch this to FK. Local wrist. If the wrist is in world, when I move the arm, it's going to try and keep its world alignment, so the wrist will kind of do like this. This is good to kind of like keep things steady, but like I want that wrist to follow what the elbow's doing. So I'm switching the wrist coordinates over to local. Probably do same over here, which looks like I already have. And an easy way to kind of like get things in a stable state to pose them is I grab all these controllers and I reset transform, so he's kind of in bind pose here. If we look at side picture, looking at how this kind of curves up through my head. So I'm going to have to rotate the hips forward, push them forward a little bit, puff out that chest, and let's lower the head. How many chins does he have? Okay, so push this over a little bit more, center this. Let's just drop it a little bit more. Hey, Val.
Hey, Doggett.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's rotate the arms up. Let's reset the fingers.
I missed the glitter. You did it twice, and I was looking at other things, and I missed it.
Well, there's plenty still in that container.
And there's plenty more on the table.
No. Glitter fail.
Yeah.
Dude, do you even glitter?
I don't.
Learn to glitter. Get good. Sorry for interrupting. Bye.
It's always a pleasure, Val. Okay, so one problem that we ran into when we were animating the Guinecean is if you look at this, he has short, stubby arms, so he actually has a hard time kind of like reaching across. In fact, he's kind of portly like I am, so his arms can't really touch. So it gets difficult when we're trying to reach up over the head. So we're probably going to have to push this pose a little bit to kind of get this to read right with him. So let's rotate the shoulders forward and then the hands. Rotate this, pull it out. So the first thing you notice, like right here, hands don't really get that far above the head. Like, you kind of have it even with the head here, so this shouldn't be a problem. I kind of want to be able to take it and lift it up. So, let's do this. And so, like I said, how we kind of get away with the short arms is I kind of cheat a little bit, and I'll push the shoulders up and out, kind of stretching it a little bit. And it does some funniness with the arms, but we can kind of like pose this out if it gets too bad. So when I'm doing this initial pose, I'm a little I kind of all over the place. I'm focusing on different parts of the body and just trying to massage this pose everywhere we go. Well, the first problem we have right now is, if you notice, the sword is on his hips, not in his hands. So we need to switch where that sword lives. So we use constraints to kind of stick weapons and certain things on certain body parts. So like we'll constrain it to the hips and the hands. That way he can run around with it on his hips and it'll stick there. And then we can switch it to his hands so that way it'll live in his hands. So let's put it in his right hand. There we go. Let's hide the controls. Shift S. This is my layer manager, so it's just a little too much. I just want to see the weapon controls right now. And this helps me select some things that are in my selector script here. So let's take the right hand rapier control and let's start cradling it in his hands. Is Nocturnal Demise on?
I don't see him in the chat.
Okay. Let me know when he's in there. I want to ask him if he can put the Tiger Chat t-shirt back up so I can buy some more. There's people back home. They believe in me. They believe in me like Gorwall believes in me, like Keynes believes in me, Tennis, Knott believes in me. They all believe that I could kill that tiger.
Are there people who don't believe you can kill a tiger?
Yeah, they're called fools. Here we go. Back to work. Alright, so I'm kind of rotating this and placing it in the hand.
Duranthal's making quite a fuss about the fact that the Guinecean is left-handed. Yeah.
Well, he has a secret. He is not left-handed. One of the little spoiler, one of the basic attacks, he actually switches hands, and I think that's what we're calling it, is I'm not left-handed. So he swaps hands so he can attack with his right hand. But initially, everybody thinks that he is left-handed. All right, so right here, if I adjust the wrist any, I kind of like lose that pose of the sword. So what I do is I have this cool little tool that will hold the position of the sword while I'm adjusting the hand. So if I really like where the sword's lying right now in his hand, which it's not perfect, but like I don't want to have to do a bunch of work to get back here. So I'll grab this and I'll do hold, transform, copy. And then that way I can take a look at this and okay, we need to do this, and then let's select this again and fetch, and it pops it right back where it was. So that's very important. I'm very proud of my belly. It's been, I don't know, 20-something years of work getting my stomach to this shape.
This shape, the
Yeah.
perfect shape.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a slightly filled water balloon, you know? And that's not easy to do. Some people go for the full water balloon.
Which is...
No, nonsense.
It's impressive.
It is.
It's an impressive figure that you've crafted for yourself.
It is. Years of work. Maybe let's roll this back foot up a little bit, get him kind of on his toe, and then we can drop the hips again a little bit more. And maybe pull this foot under here and rotate out. So, for what I call a golden pose here, I'll spend up to an hour just tweaking this pose, just kind of pulling it in, just making sure everything feels right on it. And I'm not going to sit you here watching me do this pose for an entire hour. I have some steps I've already taken, so you can see this. Okay, so it's kind of nestled in there. It's not perfect. There's some weird stuff here. Trying to rotate that out. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Maybe pull this foot in a little bit. Get him a little bit more balanced. Push this forward, and the gun has a bad habit of getting away from its sheath. Oh, not coffee, water.
How would you pronounce W-A-B-I-C-E?
Wabbit? Wabbit?
I-C-E?
I-C.
Wabbis?
Wabbis.
Wabbis?
Wabbis.
Wabbice?
Wabbice.
Well, okay. Wabbis asked, said you can't see the text due to the resolution, but what's the animation tool you're using?
This one here?
Yep.
That is a character selector that I built myself, and so what this does is...
Or maybe they're asking about 3ds Max, but
keep
going.
Well, the software that I'm using is 3D Studios Max, and that's the one of the two industry standards for animation. There's 3D Studios Max and Maya, and they both animate. It's kind of like a hammer, and it'll get the nail in the wood. So there's ongoing discussion which one is better. I use both. I don't care. You put it in front of me, I'll animate. I'm like a dog with a food bowl. Doesn't matter what's in that food bowl, I'll eat it. If it's fried okra, I'll eat that fried okra. If it's kibble, I'll eat that kibble, and I'll be happy.
It's Wabisi.
Wabisi. That's pretty cool.
We were off.
We were. Okay, so more about the character selector tool. So,
Wabis.
Wabis. Wabis.
It's a complicated name, man. It's complex.
So what this tool does is it all these controllers here are how I pose the character. I don't like looking at them. They kind of get in the way, and it's also kind of messy trying to like select certain things. So what this does is it just selects it for me. That way I can hide these controls and then select things. So let's go to his face. He's not going to be grinning. Ganeshians are not known to be followers, they're leaders, so he's not happy about pledging his fealty. So let's make him a little focused, a little angry. And then let's just close his eyes. There we go. So this is just a little bit of how I go about posing the character. Turn off some of the stuff. So let's go on to the next step, which is the blocked out pledge. So this is all the poses that I think the animation needs. So if I select all the controls, you can see all these black dashes here are all my keyframes, are all my key poses. So if I scrub through the timeline, you can see him kind of going through all the different things. And so what I do is kind of like a flip book. I like to flip forward and backwards and just make sure the motion reads. So the idea is he's going to grab the sword, he's going to pull it up, put it in his hand, then he's going to kneel and present it, then look up, and then that's going to be the end of the animation. I don't know why I made him happy for that part. Fool's gold. He's not happy. He's a little peeved. Maybe he's raging. Oh, Blair. Here's my sword. And so you can see like bits of the earlier pose I had. I started it low so that they can like lift it up about even with his head, about even his like cute little nose.
I love these guys. They have so much character.
He's been so much fun.
Watching the translation from what Dave draws and Todd iterates, Dave draws again, and Eric models, and then you don't really get a feel for their personality until you watch the animations happen. And then it's all the subtle things, just like he's got that little sneer on his face all the time. It's kind of a little smirk, right?
Yeah, he's got a little chip on his shoulder. He knows he's badass,
right?
You know, like. But, you know, he still has to prove it. Like the Myrmidon, you Myrmidon are the champion. You see him come, you're like, that's a big dude. He's badass. I'm going to avoid him. They don't have to carry that attitude. Their size does it. This guy, it's all attitude. It's all Ignino Montoya. It's Reaper Cheap. It's a little bit of me. He is my soul animal. Like, I'm never going to get this glitter off. Cook! Come lick my hands clean. He's out today, isn't he?
He left when he heard that you were going to do the stream. He was like, nope, not getting dragged into this.
Ungrateful. Okay, back to work. I apologize. All right, so I have everything here. I have everything that I think I need. So we're going to move on to the timing part of the animation. So it's probably going to be a 3 or 4 second animation. When I set this up in game, this is going to be something that really it might come down to design, whether or not it like locks you down for the entire time, or if you want to break out of it right away by moving, you don't have to wait for the animation to end. You'll break out of it. So it just depends on like if this is an actual like gameplay implications that. If you pledge your loyalty to somebody and there's like some kind of like game system that ties you to them, you might want to lock them into the animation for a little bit longer. But if it's just an emote, you can break out of it whenever you want, or you can just let it play all the way through. Okay, so grab all the controllers. I'm animating at 30 frames per second, so let's extend the timeline out to 90 frames, about 3 seconds. And I just grab all the keys and I just kind of scale them out. So I can see the quick, dirty. So I probably want this to, probably don't need to have this in here, so I can probably blow away this keyframe because I might just want to have it come to here. And then I want this to take a little bit longer. So that's probably going to be more like a 4 second animation. We'll see. We'll see what it comes out to. Looks up. And then gets out of it. I don't like this. I don't like this pose here. I'm just gonna kill it. Just have them kind of like lure it back into position and clean that up later. Kind of gets to the ground a little slow. So I can just put this on 5s here. So this is all I'm concentrating on right now is the timing. There's going to be foot sliding here. That's all part of the cleanup pass. That's probably what I'm going to move on to next very soon. The cleanup and polish pass. And so, that's where you pick up the foot and you place them and do all the subtleties. That's probably where I'll do like my facial pass, like blinks and turns and like subtleties with the face, maybe have him scrunch up his face or twitch the nose. You might get a little bit more of a smirk here, or we might hold this a little bit longer here. So, any questions?
So I'm asking people for questions right now.
So I have another file that I did a little bit more of a little bit like I finalized the timing out, but it's still not cleaned up. So you can see, yeah, it's right around 4 seconds, a little bit longer than that. Turning on auto key, and let's see what this looks like. So there's probably still some timing that I can work out here. Maybe have them get up a little bit quicker. Probably even kill this pose here. So I'm selecting these keys and kind of scaling them in, and that will make him get up a little bit quicker in this area. And I kind of like the down before he comes out to sheath it. Sometimes when I look at it, it kind of gets hitchy in this area here. And it could just be the arc of the arm and the sword, so that's something we can clean up.
People really want to see that hat on other archetypes. They want to see it on the Myrmidon. I can see the Myrmidon on like a big cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's ironic, but
Myrmidon Rancher.
Myrmidon Rancher. Probably it's Ganeshians.
No, they're buds. Best friends.
Oh, right. Didn't we have in-house Ganeshians like riding around on Myrmidons, kind of just as a joke one time?
Well, yeah, we kind of posed that out.
Right, we posted out.
Also
Not in the game.
Also gave the Guinecean like the Myrmidon's nose ring and horns. Guinecean Dawn. All right. So let's start polishing this. So I'm just going to collapse the timeline here just so that we're concentrating on the very first part of the animation. That way I'm not distracted with the entire thing. I'm getting more granular with this. So the couple things that are like standing out to me is his foot slides forward. His hand goes through the blade here, so there needs to be a better in-between. And the arc on the blade is kind of linear. Like he might need to, instead of bring it up like this, maybe like flourish it a little bit more, like take it out. So start with the feet. Let's get in there close. Closer! Closer! Too close. I broke it. I hit F and that recenters the camera, like if I do stupid things like that, and Max doesn't like me. Max, the program, not you, Max.
I sometimes don't like you either, but
well,
mainly when you talk about my grip.
It's embarrassing, isn't it? Usually for a step forward like this, what I'll do is, this is the lockdown keyframe for the foot. So I'll take and copy this key. So that way I know that the foot's exactly where I want to do, and so I just like repose the foot, like I'll like pull it up and like rotate it up. That way you have that contact pose that goes down like this. So I hit W for my translate, pull it up, I hit E for rotation, and I need to pull it down just a little bit. That way and we can, right here the foot's staying still. We want to lock it down a little bit, but maybe have like wrong foot. Maybe he kind of like starts to like lift the heel up a little bit when he's coming here. And then I can grab the toe, give it some flop. He's stepping in mud.
So I have a couple questions from Tshirt.
Mm-hmm.
This is all quite interesting. I'm really enjoying myself watching how this is done. This is Tshirt, not me.
Okay.
I'm not enjoying this. How does this relate to gameplay in the end for us?
In the end, this particular animation is more for immersion. This is called an emote. Like most MMOs have emotes where you laugh, you cry, you bow, you sit. This is just to increase your immersion in the game. Gameplay implications for something like this, when I started earlier, like when I was talking about this earlier, maybe down the line that pledging fealty is a thing, and we might want to have an animation, animation associated with this, so that you actually have a physical representation of you pledging fealty, not just having it all in data. But emotes are very important. I feel in MMOs because you're not always running around chopping trees and cutting things. Sometimes you'll sit down and enjoy the scenery. I remember I used to do that a lot. I used to watch sunsets in EverQuest, and wow, I would actually have my character sit down with my buddies and we would watch a sunset, just to have a little peaceful moment. And it was cool to be able to see that happen, have them sit down or have them do things like this. And wow, if you're typing, talking to each other and doing say chat, they'll actually do a dialogue animation. So it's all just is sprinkles. This does not take priority over combat and harvesting and just general gameplay. This is stuff that we're going to add at the end just to give the game more flavor and bring it up to par with other MMOs that are out there.
Sure.
So it's a good question. And we're very conscientious of stuff like this. I normally would not have done an animation like this until everything was done, but it was also the Guinecean's animations are done. We pounded that out as sorry off to the other departments to get it in game. So this was something I was okay, well, this is something that's already announced that I can do. This is something that I can do in an hour. And to show you guys what it takes. So what the process I'm doing here for making this animation for remote will be almost exactly the same process as doing a combat animation or an idle animation or a move animation. So this is just a sneak peek in the day-to-day lives of an animator.
So a follow-up on that, Trumpet also asked, seeing him work so hard on just this aspect, on making it smooth and realistic, it tells me a lot about those making the animations for the game. How long from start to finish does it take to complete the animations for one archetype? Also, once done, does this easily translate into others to save time and be more efficient when it comes to having a finished game?
About my speed that I animate at, I can do about one animation every 6 to 8 hours, a 3 or 4 second animation. It takes me about a day to do. And I don't know, we have over 40 something animations. So it takes a little while to do a full animation set. As far as sharing the animations between the archetypes, we have a tool that will transfer some animations. So there's certain things like the hit animations that we transfer from archetype to archetype because they're just having, them getting rocked and stuff like that. There is still cleanup when you transfer it because this guy is not the same proportions as a knight. So if I were to transfer an animation from the knight over to this guy, his arms would be like popped out and trying to hit the same points that the knight is. And so there's, it buys us some time, but it doesn't really buy us that much in the end. And then there's also quantity versus quality. We're trying to make a quality game. And if everything was based off of the same animation and transferred over, everything starts to become very stale and looks exactly the same. And the character starts to lose personality if the idol is the same as the champions are. So we try to keep that uniqueness in there, like with the time that we have, but we do try and cut corners where we can, like the harvesting animations. It's just chopping a tree. Those we transfer from archetype to archetype and clean up, and sometimes we'll add in a little bit of flavor of that character. Because it's for really long animations for harvesting right now, and doing those all unique would just be too much time to do. So, does that answer that question?
Yeah, I think so.
Pro tip: do not animate with glitter. And just, I feel like art in general just takes time. Time to do it right. There's a thing to where an artist is never really done. They call it quits, or they hand it off, because you can spend forever on a painting. I could spend forever on animation, adding in little details. Places like Disney and Pixar will do 5 days for 5 seconds of animation, whereas I usually do like a day for 3 to 5 seconds of an animation, because I'm not having to hit as high fidelity as Disney or Pixar. So, and I could spend a week on it, and I could spend a month on it, and still keep working on it. So we just try to make do with the time that we have. So let me kind of rotate this out a little bit more, maybe. Delay it just a little bit. Okay, I need to go back to the hips and feet. Foot is sliding here. And sometimes it's okay for feet to slide, because when you're shifting around, you're not necessarily picking up your foot like a prancing horse everywhere you go. So there is like micro adjustments that we can do to where we kind of shift around. So I might for something like this, I might get it there a little bit sooner, so it's a quicker shift. The hips kind of go with a bouncing ball like scenario with him. So he's going to be dropping his hips on the ground, and he's not just going to like hit, like even like when I'm trying to simulate like hitting that wall, there's still like a little bit of give. So when he squats down, he's going to overshoot, come back, and then settle like this. And right now it just kind of does a little bit of it. So I can have foot get there a little bit sooner, have the hips overshoot, go down a little bit more, come up, and then down again. So just a little bit of movement. So it just gives it a little bit of weight. And we can go on to like facial expressions. Right here where the hand is going through. So we just kind of move it up and out of the way, open up the fingers. We probably want it to grab a little bit sooner. Yeah. I feel like this is still too fast. You probably need to have the hand, or like this hand, kind of overshoot the other hand, then settle in. Ah! So there's a little bit of clipping here. We can fix that. Let's
Majik the Entertainer asked, will the Duelist be as broken in terms of power level as the Myrmidon? He's a... I like him a lot in our playtests. He's a...
everything's going to be broken when it's first put in. And that's the reason why we do the playtest, is so that we can get balancing in. So... with stuff like that, sometimes it's just a game of rubber band. So you kind of overcompensate, and then like just kind of get in there where everything's fine tuned. Especially like certain classes have to kind of build off of each other. So he might be a little bit broken until we have the Stalker class, that is the anti-stealth class. So he might seem a little bit broken, but like there's going to be things that go in that compensate for that later on. So sometimes we kind of hold off on balancing until we get what we think in there to balance that out. But that's more of a Blair thing than animation. Sometimes we might, slow down or speed up an animation, or do a new one, depending on design feedback.
The Duelist is awesome, though.
He is. I love him.
He really is. I think he's my favorite archetype so far.
He's been the most fun for me to animate. Let's get the sword kind of nestled in some area. I usually have two monitors, so I have a little bit more space to work with. So it's getting kind of cramped. Maybe have his thumb open up a little bit. I don't like where he's looking. Maybe just kind of keep it straight ahead, because he's going to be looking at somebody doing this. And they're probably going to be taller than him. Let's do the same here. And the most important thing to do while you're animating, save. Alright, so... And what I might do is, when he looks up, I might just dip the head a little bit to kind of give him that take, and then I probably want a blink in there. Hold that blink for a couple frames and have him look up. And then here I probably want to hold the eyes closing until here. Save that. All right, let's see how this looks. I really should. Maybe I should bring the arm down. Short little arm. So that maybe do something like this. Make it less mechanical. I don't. Just drag it a little bit more.
Zigarash asked, won't there be clipping issues once you incorporate different sword models, gloves, and such? Is that just an inevitable part of doing this?
The gloves, not so much, because what happens is, like, if you have like a glove covering the hand, we get rid of the geometry underneath, so the glove kind of takes up the same amount of space as a hand would, maybe a little bit more. Different swords there might be, but we'll compensate for that once we get the other swords made. What we like to do is kind of when we create these objects, we create a safe animatable area. So the hilt right here, this needs to be the same for all the swords, and like where the tip is, that needs to be the same, because this is what we're animating against, so that when he grabs the hilt, he's grabbing the hilt every single time, and it's at the right diameter. So and clipping is just is bugs and polish. We fix them as we see them, as things get in. It's going to happen. So we try to head that off as much as possible. Still too fast for me.
Kane asked, did Todd forbid Doggett to do part 2 of the Tiger video until he has done all of the animations?
No. The Tiger video was like actually a lot of me at home with my iPhone and my wife, like film. I'm like, all right, now hold the cat. Okay. And like, I'm like in the kitchen, I'm like crying and like filming myself, or I'm in my car on the way to work. Work comes first. Always does. So Todd doesn't have to forbid it. Like, we all know what's on the line here. So it looks like we're goofing off in some of those videos, but no, like we're very business minded here, and we work very hard, and sometimes we get to play.
Gotta hit the milestones.
Gotta hit the milestones. Probably lower this arm to keep that clipping from happening. Save. I just don't like it. I don't like what I'm doing here. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have dipped down first. Maybe I should have been bringing it up the entire time. And then okay, let's move on. Actually, let's do a little bit more of the face. Usually when you have a take, you might have like something like a face scrunch. So, you know, let's bring this up. Let's take the ears, maybe like perk them up. And we can scrunch up the face here. And we can even go in here, maybe in like, give them a little bit of snarl, though. We kind of give them a squint. Do that a lot with my glasses. All right, so moving on. Let's go to this part here where he's raising it up. And so we have kind of a moving hold. Again, the sword is constantly trying to move out of the hand. It's just something we live with. I like to do like an alligator chat video talking about punching an alligator, or a crocodile. Like, if you jump in the water and just start furiously like swimming at a crocodile or alligator, they don't know what to do.
They panic.
They panic and they will drown themselves.
They have no idea how to react to a dog diving into their natural habitat and swimming at them full speed.
Yeah.
That's not what's supposed to happen.
No, and full speed for me is not that fast, but still, there's going to be a lot of splashing. And it's going to be a lot of noise, a lot of splashing. I might have to stop and like catch my breath like halfway there, but I'm going after that gator. Like, it's all about confidence.
If you don't behave like prey,
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, that's the difference between a lion and a gazelle. If you're sitting there eating the grass, you're going to get eaten. But if you're like chopping on a steak and you're just like looking around and like snarling at things and just, you know, swiping and getting upset, so thinking about all the prey in the office that just sit there and just munch on their food, and Todd won't let me attack them.
We have to keep Doggett leashed to his desk sometimes. It's the predator instinct.
It is. So, in this like little dead time here.
Hold on, I got a question. Kate asked, do you do non-character animations as well? And if so, what is your favorite non-character one? So I guess non-archetype.
Really haven't done any like...
Well, zombies, right? So zombies, Hellcats.
Yeah, I did the zombie early on.
He gets to like eat his own...
Yeah, like that was my idea, was him eating his guts, and he's recycling. And somehow I got that through. Well, there might be some like environment animations or non-character animations, NPC animations, like sitting down, like warming the fire, like when you come across like maybe some NPC bandits in the game. It'd be boring if they're all just standing there and idle. Maybe they're like chatting to each other and that kind of stuff, like filler stuff is cool. Like when I worked at King's Isle, I had a really good time animating the environments, because the environments was like a giant whale flying through the sky, and so I animated that. I also animated the turtle, and those were really a lot of fun. But you know, there's always like animations that you have to do, like a flag waving, and it's not too much fun. I like to do more character stuff.
I think Todd was saying none of what you were saying about the alligator crocodile was true. 0% true.
0% because it hasn't been done yet.
No one's tried it.
Nobody's tried it.
There's no evidence really to support either of you.
No, exactly.
It's a level playing field.
Let's put like a little nose twitch in here. So I was thinking like RoboCop versus Smog.
I don't want to bring up the chimp argument again.
Oh, the chimp, that's a John O'Neill thing. No, like RoboCop versus Smog. Like, Smog has that weak spot right here. RoboCop, extremely accurate, like aiming and shooting. So I'm thinking like if Bard could do it, Alex Murphy can do it. Unless Smog is an OCP executive, then he can't shoot him and then it's all moot at that point. Then we go on to Wolverine versus Smog. And it comes down to whether or not Smog knows that Wolverine has a healing factor, because Smog might just like chomp, eat him, and then 4 hours later, Wolverine bursts out of his chest. You know,
This is really just a Tiger Chat stream, right? I mean,
pretty much. This is stuff that I think about all the time.
this is what's going on in the back of Doggett's mind as he's animating the Guinecean Duelist.
My favorite was Yoda versus Wolverine, and the conclusion that I came to was like Yoda would like levitate Wolverine to a volcano and just dip him in the lava until he's dead. And it'll take him a really long time because Yoda's really slow. So it'll be like days of him like levitating Wolverine.
This is later Yoda, not episode 2 Yoda.
Exactly. This is slow Yoda. Like slow, like force powerful Yoda, and just dip him in the lava until it's just nothing but an adamantium skeleton. Mine. So I put a little nose twitch in there, kind of give him some character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh? Blair, will you let me in your guild? Huh, Blair? Huh? I'll be the best Ganeshan ever.
Doggett will not be voice acting for the Duelist, as far as I know.
I will be voice acting for the Myrmidon. Move out of the way! Can you imagine the Myrmidon like typing? Just does he have hooves? He doesn't have hooves for hands.
Not for hands.
He should.
How would he hold his dual axes?
With both hoofs.
2 axes like this?
Yeah, one going this way, the other going that way. Let's do something with the ears too. Like maybe have them before the nose twitches, have them do a little take. So let's hold down that key here. Let's put the ears up and then back down again. So let's see what that looks like. And kind of hit a wall here, so they might need to settle back up again. See what that looks like. Honestly, guys, like I'm probably going to be spending most of my time like working on this part here after the stream. Like I just don't like that. I feel it needs like be a little bit fancier when he gets in there. So
sure.
But I don't want to spend the entire time on that. Okay, so save that. It's feeling pretty good. And I know what everybody's thinking.
Do you?
I do.
And
yes, and yes, he has a belly bone. Look at that. Yeah, that's later. That's just it. That's if everybody's extra sweet to me. Get some slightly filled water balloon action going on.
On the Duelist.
On the Duelist.
Not you.
Yeah, I've been known to dance in the office. Before I really hurt my ankle, I used to dance all the time. I was known to do the worm and splits and handsprings. I broke my tailbone doing a handspring one time in high school. My sister caught it on film.
Where's that video?
It's not like VHS, dude. That a long time. You know VHS?
I know VHS.
Okay.
I'm not that young.
It's like a Blu-ray,
It's not like Blu-ray.
but a really long like strip of Blu-ray. Yeah, like I was like. It was my sister's last day in high school. I was like, "Hey, Mandy," and then like I start to do like the handspring, and my hand slipped, and I like fell on my tailbone and broke it. And I broke it 4 times that summer. Got in a car wreck a couple of months after that. Broke it again in Taekwondo, then broke it again in Taekwondo because I was very insulting to a girl, and she proved me wrong.
She broke her tailbone.
She kicked my ass, literally. Women in Alabama are tough.
Good grief.
let's see. So we got some clipping here with the sword. So let's drop the hand. Let's drop the elbow a little bit more. So if I'm holding the blade like this and then gripping it, yeah, I'm going to get that hand out of the way. I do a lot of acting at my desk. You'll see me and Cook miming stuff a lot, trying to figure that out. Maybe we can curl the fingers a little bit.
So it is almost 2 o'clock.
Yeah?
Time flies when you're talking about Yoda and RoboCop.
Smog. Darkwing Duck versus Batman. Let's get dangerous. We all know Darkwing Duck will win. Cartoon physics.
I think John O'Neill would have he would be really adamant on the other side of that argument.
Yeah, well, John O'Neill's wrong.
You're right. He's wrong a lot. More than most people in the office, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep him looking straight ahead. I don't know. I can keep going if you want to keep going. If people are here, if they're watching, let's keep going.
A question from Huriel. Fast forward to next year, Crowfall is launched. How does the work change for you at that point?
It doesn't. They're working on an MMO or a live game is different than working on like a console game. Well, usually with a console game or a PC game that's like Call of Duty or The Sims, you either move on to the next project or you work on patches that either add content or maybe clean up bugs. But you don't spend that much time post ship on that product. You move on to the next one. Well, Crowfall is a living world at that point. So there's going to be maybe new archetypes. There's maybe going to be new animations, new emotes. There's going to be gender variants. There's going to be more creatures. There's going to be there's plenty of work to do there. And there's also going to be like filling in the areas that we weren't able to do when we were making the game, because things are prioritized, like crafting and harvesting and combat comes first.
Sure.
So we have to fill in the stuff like that. So what I hope post-launch, the game just gets better. There's just more stuff in it. It gets better. It's more fleshed out. There's more depth.
So for you, that might look like, as we build more content, you might be making more emotes. You might be animating new mobs that we put into the game.
Yeah, I might even be going back, and like doing some tweaking of animations I'm not completely happy with and cleaning those up. I might be
there's some on your face too. Some on your head.
oh. I like it in my hair. I might be a janitor after this if it
will be if this glitter's still there.
Yeah. I mean, like, one too many Tiger Chat videos, Todd might fire me and I might be waiting tables at Applebee's. I love Applebee's.
Gator Chat.
Yeah, Gator Chat. So, fixing that gets a little ganky here. So, as he's coming up, let's have him blink. In older games, to blink, the character artist would, in the texture, just have the eyes like painted in on the face closed, and we would have two planes with the eyes open. And how we would make them blink is just turning off the eye mesh and showing the closed eyes underneath, and so that's how we do it. Or like take those planes and just push them back into the head. So it's nice having stuff like this.
Apparently the vacuum was a little bit loud.
Oh, I apologize. Well, John. Shitty John.
Language. Whatever.
Poopy John.
Our,
Guys, you should know.
Our word filter like boots people out in the chat. People, I said like damn. Doggett's here just dropping, saying whatever he wants. Poopy John. Video John.
He didn't drop the fart bomb.
This goes back to animating. Nothing happened.
There's a little too much noise in the head coming up through here. Sometimes simpler is better, so I can just delete. I said beautiful John.
Pretty John?
Pretty John.
John wants to kill the stream.
Oh, he wants to kill it?
Yeah. Doesn't have to.
Oh, Max, you're here. Hi. Here, could you hold this for me, Max? Oh, is it too heavy? Oh no. He drives a stick shift, people. I can just imagine it slipping out his hands and trying to get in reverse and using both hands to get in reverse. We love Max. He really grew on us. It took a while. Young punk coming in here. I'm a producer.
Doggett, finish those animations. Why aren't they done?
That's a good question.
Okay, when you're ready, just hit outputs and just click on the top one to end it. So keep coming right in. Outputs. Right there. Outputs. And then click on that first one to end it. Just click that to end it.
Alright guys, let me show you a little shortcut. So we actually do have bones here in the feather, so they can flop around. And I could spend all day like doing secondary motion of the feather going around, but why do that when you could just run a physics simulation on it? So let's just do that. And there you go. Animation for the feather done. It's a little shortcut so I can concentrate on the big picture instead of spending all day animating the stupid feather. I'll probably run the same thing on like his belly and his coattails. And so somebody asked like taking bits of animation and reusing them. So I actually earlier today grabbed the last bit of the sheath for right here and just reused it for that because it saved me a little bit of time and added like a little bit of flavor in there. So that you try to save where you can. Save this so I don't lose any work, so we can look at like and putting away his weapon. Any other questions? None? The crafting stream was cool. I'm really excited about like harvesting and crafting. It's a lot of fun from what I've been playing. So it's cool seeing like Blair go through all that stuff. And
you animated those too, right?
Yeah, I did the harvesting animations. It went through different iterations. Like at first we were just going to like do a generic thing, and then the ore was going to just stream into your hand, and we decided that we didn't like that, so we went to like summoning the pickaxe and then using the spectral pickaxe to harvest with. And we're like, well, that pickaxe doesn't work on a tree, so we did like a spectral axe. And
was the Legionnaire fun to do for that one?
Yeah, he actually his upper body transferred pretty well from the knight. I was just trying to figure out what to do with the lower body.
Are you able to change the size of anything in here, or is this purely animation? They really want to see what a giant hat would look like on the Guinecean.
A giant hat.
I know Eric could do that.
Yeah, let me see. Let's see if the bone will let me do it. Like, sometimes you can grab the bone and scale it. Hat. And then sometimes, yeah, there we go. How about that? I cannot see you. And you use scale for like having it like explode. So
I think we should just keep. I don't know if Todd will go for it, but I think we should just slip it in and see what happens. Dungeon Pug asked, do you have any advice for animating armored gauntlets? I've had some problem with the segmented armoring around the fingers.
That's mainly skinning and how you have your bones. So how the segments are laid out, usually you can just have them skinned, and they'll you might just have it follow the bones, or you can have individual bones for the pieces. That way they'll follow, and then you can use that separate bone that's linked to the finger bone to adjust where this is. That way that the plates can slide together like that. And you can put the pivot of the bone, so you have like the plate up here, instead of putting the bone just up here so that you're like pivoting locally. Sometimes you can put the pivot down here so that when you pivot it gets a little bit, it starts like translating and rotating, and it kind of like pivots around that axis a little bit more so that you can try and get that to line up naturally like that. We usually do that for like shoulder pads, like when you're lifting up the arm, you'll have the shoulder pad clipping through the arm, and so we kind of adjust that up out of the way. But it really comes down to like for gauntlets, especially for games, I really wouldn't want to put that much skinnable bones because that decreases performance. You're talking about 30-something extra bones just for the hands for that. So you might go back and forth with a modeler to maybe like adjust the placement of it. That way, just when it's bound to this bone here, they slide naturally. So it's really about the pivot and the skinning.
Awesome. What's your favorite archetype?
Guinecean.
It's the Ganesha? Why?
I've just been looking forward to it. I like small characters. I like characters with big personalities. He's quick. He's agile. He has a lot of utilitarian things with, because Guineceans, I guess, are the techie, more advanced race. So they have like the guns and the gunpowder, and it's fun. It's they're kind of our Batman / Zorro character. They have abilities for different situations. I think I'm really looking forward to the Forge Master because I really like dwarfs. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like dwarfs?
Yeah, they're okay.
I think I've glitter on my nose.
Glitter.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, there's a lot of thank yous.
Oh, thanks for watching.
And a lot of kudos. Yeah, thank you for listening to all that random nonsense too. I mean, scientific discussion.
It is.
You gonna give the camera a glittery goodbye?
And this is the Doggett signing out.
Bye, guys. Thank you for watching.